All right, so there's one last thing that I want to go over with you guys. It'll be related to your homework, and it's number 5 from 4B. Now, 5A is already similar to some problems we've done. You want to get rid of the square root to help solve for x, so you square both sides. The root's already isolated. In 5B, uh, you want to get the parentheses term by itself. So we're going to double both sides to get rid of the fraction. So multiply both sides by 2, and you get x minus 1 cubed equals 64. But then, how do you get rid of a cube, right? If it was squared, you take the square root of both sides. And also, if it's squared, let's say equals 64, so squared, you would take the square root. Let's say it was x minus 1 squared. So this is not the actual problem, right? You go x minus 1 equals plus or minus the root of 64. Because if you take the square root of something, if you square something, it could be positive or negative to get the 64 back. If you're cubing something, though, you got to cube a positive number to get a positive number. You can't cube a negative number and get a positive number. So the trick for this is x minus 1 is going to be the cubic root of 64. You're going to take the cubic root of both sides. So that either looks like this, and then the cubic root cancels with the cube, and you got x minus 1 equals the cubic root of 64. And you don't need plus minus for an odd root, for that third root, that cubic root. And then you would just add the 1. Or you could approach it like this, where we got the x minus 1 cubed equals 64. And then if you, the parentheses cube term is isolated. If you raise both of these to the 1/3, then this uses that rule a to the m to the n equals a to the m times n. And so the reason that we do x minus 1 to the cubed and then raise that to the 1/3 is when I multiply these together, they turn into 1. So this just becomes x minus 1 to the first equals 64 to the 1/3. Now 64 to the 1/3, by the way, the cubic root of 64 is a nice number, right? Cubic root of 64 means look for triples of things. Well, this is 8 times 8, which is really 4 times 2 and 4 times 2. And that's going to be 2 times 2 and 2 times 2. So I've got one triple of 2's and another triple of 2's. So this thing is really the cubic root of 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which really turns into, since it's a cubic root, not a square root, we're looking for triples. That comes out as a 2 and another 2. So we get 4. So this thing is really just 4 here. So it's x minus 1 equals 4. Same deal over here. So x is 5. Or if we did it this way, you still get 5. Okay, now if you look at part C, it's kind of related in a way, except instead of taking the cubic root of both sides, you're going to isolate the root. And then to get rid of the cubic root, you don't square both sides anymore. Now you cube both sides. Okay? And on the calculator, let me find that for you here. On the calculator, hold on. Oh, is this going to work, or am I going to have to log in? Oh my gosh. What is it updating? Oh gosh. Okay, give me a second. There. Okay. On the calculator, if you want to type in a cubic root, my suggestion is 64. Don't type in cubic root, just do 1/3 to the 1/3 power. If you really want it, it's in the math menu right here. There it is. You scroll down to here, and then you put in 64. Okay, now you can't type in cubic root of 70 minus 2x because the calculator is not going to know what x is. But if you want to cube something, remember this symbol right here, that little button that looks like this, that's the power symbol, right? That gives you the exponent. So when you want to cube stuff, 2 to the third, right? Okay. Now, when you do this part C, make sure you isolate this guy before you cube both sides, or else you could end up with some really ugly work here if you're cubing something like that square root minus 10 cubed. That means you got to do a minus, in this case, it'd be a minus 10 times a minus 10. You foil that, and then you multiply by another one of these guys. So that's going to be hideous. So don't do that. Isolate the root first. So add 10 to both sides. All right. And that should do it.